Whenever I compare an organization, I'm talking about the closest functional comparison, not an exact equivalent. Britain and the United States have different histories, different legal authorities, different strategic priorities, and very different defense budgets. And now, before we dive into the individual organizations, there's one big idea I want you to keep in mind throughout this entire video. Britain and the United States didn't just build different intelligence agencies, they built two very different ecosystems. Britain generally built highly specialized organizations with clearly defined roles, rather than giving multiple organizations overlapping capabilities. Each organization was designed to excel in a specific area and work together as part of a larger system. The United States evolved differently. As America's global responsibilities expanded, many intelligence agencies and Tier 1 organizations developed a broader, overlapping capabilities instead of just relying on one another and every time they needed a particular capability. One of the biggest reasons that this was possible is the overall funding within the United States defense budget. The United States spends dramatically more on defense than Britain, allowing multiple organizations to develop similar capabilities while remaining highly effective. Britain, with a much smaller defense budget, concentrated on expertise into specialized organizations that depend on one another. So which system is better? Well, that depends on what you're trying to optimize for. Britain's model is probably the most cost effective. The American model is arguably more capable overall because it can afford greater redundancy and flexibility. Neither approach is inherently right or wrong. There are products at different budgets, different strategic priorities, and different global responsibilities. Now, keep that framework in mind as we go through each organization, because once you understand the ecosystem, the rest of Britain's intelligence community starts to make a lot more sense. So let's start at the top. The Ministry of Defense, or the MOD, oversees Britain's armed forces. That includes the British Army, the Royal Navy, the Royal Air Force, Defense Intelligence, and UK Special Forces. Its responsibilities include military strategy, procurement, budgeting, and ensuring Britain's military operates as one integrated force. The closest American comparison is probably the Department of Defense. Both oversee the nation's armed forces. Their biggest difference is scale. The Pentagon manages the world's largest military with global responsibilities. The Ministry of Defense oversees a much smaller force through a more centralized structure. Think of the MOD as an organization responsible for ensuring every part of Britain's defense establishment is working towards the same strategic objectives. And now for the first intelligence organization, which is MI5. Most people are one decision away from changing everything. I spent years at the tip of the spear as a Tier 1 operator. And the one thing that separated the men who made it from the ones who didn't had nothing to do with talent. It was fitness, and not just physical fitness. The discipline, the clarity, the mental edge that comes from being locked in physically. And that transfers to every single area of your life. For a limited time, I'm offering a 30-minute one-on-one fitness consultation and audit. We will get on a call and I'll break down exactly what you need to be doing going forward. And not a cookie-cutter program, but a custom strategy built for you that you can implement immediately. 30 minutes, $49.99. And you will walk away with a plan from someone who has operated and lived this at the highest levels. If you are serious about leveling up, click the link. Officially known as the Security Service, MI5 is Britain's domestic intelligence agency. If someone is planning a terrorist attack inside Britain, if a foreign intelligence service is recruiting spies, or hostile actors are attempting to steal classified information, MI5 is responsible for finding them. One thing that surprises many people is that MI5 isn't a police organization. They don't make arrests. Their job is collecting intelligence, identifying threats, and working alongside police organizations that carry out the arrests and the criminal investigations. The closest American comparison is probably the FBI's National Security Branch. Both focus on counterterrorism and counterintelligence inside their own countries. The biggest difference is legal authority. The FBI is both an intelligence agency and a law enforcement organization. MI5 focuses almost entirely on intelligence while leaving law enforcement responsibilities to the local police authorities. That separation reinforced Britain's philosophy of specialized organizations working together instead of combining multiple responsibilities into a single agency.